This next graph, we are going to look at it directly from Desmos. Real quick though, I want you to notice it's in vertex form, and hopefully you notice the vertex is at -2, 3. We also know some things is it opens down, and then we can go from there. All right, so when we go to Desmos, -2 x plus 2, and that is +3, so moved it up. All right, so if you notice right here, we have -2, +3, like we said. We have a vertical line of symmetry at x equals -2. We said it opened down. Now, if you were going to graph, you have the table on the left, or you can look at the points. You have -1, 1 that it goes through. You have 0, -5 that it goes through. And then symmetrically, you have it went 1 to the right on to -1, 1. So that means it would go 1 to the left at -3, 1. Same thing would happen down at the 0, -5. Symmetrically, it would go the opposite way. I want you to real quick write these things down, these coordinates down, because we're going to go to a graph and compare it. Also, something that I want you to look at is there is a stretch between the vertex and the next point at -1, 1. Normally it goes down 1 and over 1. But since there was that 2 in front, it stretched it, times it by 2. The distance between those is now by 2. And the distance between -1, 1 and 0, -5 has doubled also. All right, so let's go back to our notes and see what that last problem is, and we can compare that. All right, the last problem here, so I just redrew the graph for us. Not as nice as the Desmos graph, but we'll be okay. We have this equation from before. It says graph h of x, which is g of x, and then x plus 5 is in parentheses. So from the very beginning of the notes, we talked about what happens when it's inside the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis moves it left or right. And we said specifically if it was a plus, it moved it in the opposite direction. And so for this one specifically, it is moving us left 5. So if you look at your graph, every single thing is going to be left 5. So your vertex is now going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your -1, 1 is now going to be at -6, 1. Your 0, -5 is now going to be at -5, -5. So there is your side of your parabola. You have a vertical dotted line at -7 because we moved everything left 5. -3, 1 is now at -8, 1 to make your graph go that way. And then at -9, -5. So if we had to write the function h of x, this purple one is h of x. It still had that -2 sitting in the front. It still had that squared and the +3 at the end. But now inside the parenthesis, it is x plus 7 because our axis of symmetry is at -7. The vertex for this one is -7, 3.